Hey, Brad.
Hey, Brad.
How's it going?
It's going great.
What's up, Brad Muir?
You can't see my face, but I'm smiling right now.
You?
Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty excited,
man.
Pretty excited.
They said the man who never smiled has finally cracked one. You finally cracked one.
I finally cracked.
What's up, Brad Muir from Double Fine?
Nothing, man. I am actually quite a lot, I would say.
Yeah?
Quite a bit.
Well,
because we've been working on this video game for a while, and we're finally ready to like.
You guys are getting
It's
there.
hilarious though, because like you said earlier, in the warm-ups, you had said that like, oh, you haven't seen anything about it. We've been showing this thing like every 2 weeks on Twitch.
I refuse to believe it.
Not on GiantBomb.com, but we've been showing it, and it's like it's been really weird, like having people be like, oh my God, the first reveals, but it's like this is like a I don't know.
There's only one place on the internet to watch videos of video games, man, and it's not Twitch.
This is it. And this is it.
All right, let's hop in here.
So sweet, let's do it.
Yeah, so let's see, at the time of this recording, we are like 3 days before PAX?
Yeah, so this is like our build, and it's pretty like ready to go.
Yeah, so this
show floor.
This is the PAX demo.
This is our PAX demo.
Actually,
and I thought we would bring it over here and talk about it,
yeah.
and we'd just hang out, and I would show it to you. And do you want to do a dramatic
I
reading
don't know
of
if I can do the whole thing.
So we're not done with the video game.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest pieces that's left to come in still is like we have the script written, and we have 2 characters, and there's going to be like full VO in the game for the 2 characters. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but yeah. So we have some like text prompts and stuff in here to kind of like give you a little bit of context, but there will be some really excellent VO because there's Double Fine as a game studio is like I don't know. I like VO. I feel like it adds a lot to the game. So
you guys have a long history.
So I think this aspect is going to be a lot better. But yeah, the setup is that you are this immortal ruler that's just sort of like kind of awoken at the beginning of the game, and the Chalice you've been created inside of the Chalice. And so there are all these heroic bloodlines in this nation, and the great heroes that have kind of like died and whatever. It's like they took their ashes and put them together in the Chalice and formed you, this immortal ruler that's going to help this nation through this like this battle.
You're like Serpentor?
Yeah, dude, that is so hilarious that you just said that.
Okay.
I can't believe it because
Why?
it's literally like
that's where the idea came from.
That's absolutely where the idea came from. I love that.
You and me, man.
You are basically immortal Serpentor in this game.
All right, I'm sold.
So you are unfortunately bound to this throne room, so you can only send in. You need to send in your heroes to do that, and your heroes are mortals, and you're going to be kind of directing them in these tactical battles. There's a little bit of a surprise on this screen right here for this build specifically. I don't know.
Oh, I see it. I don't know if I want to. Okay. I wasn't going to mention it, but
yeah, I posted about this on the forums.
Yeah.
It was something we really want to do, and
that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Is he a baller?
We'll find out.
Is that his class?
Actually, you know what? So that's the thing. Like the characters all have different. They have different traits. So you see these sigils were all like the sigils and the last names and the first names. Like these were all submitted by backers.
Yeah. So are these that we're looking at here? These are actual backers.
Yeah.
These aren't placeholder.
This is the actual data that's like come in and like this is what we're using.
So did people design their own sigils, or did they pick from like pre-made ones?
Absolutely. Like there was like we could probably show that later.
Okay.
We have this like little sigil designer that people can use to like make these things. And so you get to pick the 2 colors and like composite the sigil together and stuff. And you get to submit the last name and then the first names of your sort of like founding heroes of the bloodline. What is random is the class that your character will be assigned, and then these traits down here. And we can talk about this like a little bit later, but basically this is each character has like a genetic code, and that will like express itself in these traits that are like positive and negative things that will affect either their performance in the like tactics, something like this quick study, like this character will gain increased XP compared to a different character, or things like this bountiful trait. So this just means like they'll be able to have more children. So that's a more like doesn't do anything on the tactical layer.
Sure.
They're not like
his talents are off the battlefield.
Absolutely. And there are some other ones, like some of these are genetic. So like this asthma is genetic. So if you sprint, use your turn sprinting, you'll have an asthma attack, and then like you won't be able to move as fast next turn, and that might get passed down to your kids because that's genetic. There are other things that we call them personality traits. So this pessimism is a personality trait, and that's kind of like a jokey one.
Yeah.
But your hit chance will be displayed a lot.
Oh wow.
A lot higher. Actually,
that's devious.
A lot lower than what it actually is. I think there was a bug there. It's not done yet.
I'm not here to judge. So is this a battle that you guys made for the PAX demo, or is this taken from the campaign?
Yeah. So this is. I mean, the map is definitely from something in the campaign, but yeah, we tuned it and we made it a little bit shorter. So yeah. So we use like a 2 action point system, very similar to a lot of like new XCOM is probably the most direct comparison, but a lot of, it's just like a simplified action point system. So this orange border is like, if you move within this orange border, you'll be able to take an action.
First point.
If you move within this dotted like kind of white outline border, then that's going to be like your whole character's turn, and they won't be able to actually perform an action. There's 3 character classes in the game. So Mr. Davis here is an alchemist. So Alchemist fights with this big thing that we still need a name for, called a thrower right now. I don't know. We need a name for it.
Rude-looking claw.
But it's been like a big bladed claw, and so you can use it as a melee weapon, but primarily it's used to fling these like explosive potions that they use. This dude is Darius. I don't know. Like a lot of the names that people submitted, it's like, I don't know. It's just kind of rad. I get surprised every time we fire the game up.
Sure.
Like because there's like,
how many names are in there?
There's, I think there's like 2,000.
That's a good number of names.
2,000 of these bloodlines that got submitted, so it's like I'm still seeing like tons and tons of random ones every time I play the game. But so this guy's a caberjack, so this is like our heavy melee class. He fights with this big.
Does he toss the caber?
We just call it a caber. There's no caber tossing.
Aww.
There's no caber tossing in here.
Does he eat haggis?
Part of it is just like you throw it and then like what do? You gotta go punch stuff.
That's fair.
Which is fine. We could probably do that, but so it's sort of like this medieval kind of battering ram sort of thing. And then our third character is, we call it a hunter. It's like fights with this big giant crossbow. It's kind of like our ranged stealth class.
Okay.
So right away, there's an enemy over here. So this dude is called a tantrum. We'll get into that dude in a minute. But so the enemy that you're fighting is called the Cadence, and it's kind of this mysterious thing. I don't know if you saw it on the title screen or not, but it's like this weird sort of like miasma that's surrounding the entire nation. And part of playing the game is like figuring out, it's this mystery of like what the hell it's doing, and it's kind of corrupting the nation from the outside in. About every 10 years, it's able to launch one of these attacks where it sends these like humanoid enemies in to fight you. And they're trying to like spike the corruption in the area and corrupt it further. So you have to deploy like a squad of these 5 heroes to like fight them off in the tactical battle.
How does the 10-year interval play into the kind of generation system of like, you can't send a bunch of 10-year-olds into battle, or you kind of are you leapfrogging generations? You can.
Yeah, that's no, you can't. You
okay.
can't. We have 15 is our cutoff for. So we call them trainees when they're like between 0 and 15. Is a baby 0 years old? I think so.
Yeah.
I think a baby is 0 years old. Yeah, so when they're 0 to 15 is when they like kind of hang out in the keeps, and you can't actually you can't deploy them into a fight.
Are you doing anything to like train them up manually, or are you setting parameters that?
No, it's just we try to streamline it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a tantrum. So this is a corrosion enemy. So all of the enemies are based off of sort of like long-term effects of time. I'm really bad at playing this video game and trying to talk about it at the same time.
Seems like a lot to keep up with.
I'm super bad at it. So I definitely advanced my guys way too far, and bad things are gonna happen.
I know the feeling.
So that one enemy, like that orange-looking guy, so he's based off of corrosion. So when he explodes, he leaves this big sort of corrupty, corrosion-y patch on the ground. You can run over it, but you don't want to end your turn in it, or else you're going to take some damage. This other enemy here, this is called a bulwark. It's kind of like this ranged tank-looking enemy, and this is based off of like decay and fossilization. So we'll get into this guy here in a minute. I'm going to move Mr. Davis up here.
Is there any kind of is there a concept of cover or hiding behind things?
There's no
or
concept
line
of cover.
Sight?
It's just all based around line of sight. Yeah. So it revealed this this additional enemy back here. I'm gonna see if I can do this without. That would be really bad if. Okay, we're not gonna let this happen. It's gonna be okay. So the caberjack has a knockback skill that you can use to stun enemies and push them into each other to deal extra damage. I knew that would happen as soon as I did that.
Yeah. Did it fail to proc?
Yeah. Basically, like all of our melee attacks can do like instead of missing, they just do glancing blows and deal 1 damage. In the case of special abilities, they'll actually fail. Okay, so I'm gonna have my alchemist here use. So they're all about throwing these explosive flasks, And the alchemist also has this this free throw ability. I think we need a better name than that. Free throw.
What does it do?
So basically, it doesn't cost any action points.
Okay.
It has a cooldown, but it doesn't cost any action points to use one of your flasks. So you can throw it, and then you can throw 2 in one turn, or you can throw it and then run. So I'm gonna throw it here.
I think free throw is pretty apt.
Free throw is pretty apt. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it just makes me think about it being a basketball game. Okay, so this bulwark, whenever he takes damage, he armors up with this kind of like extra additional bone armor. So any damage that you do to him for the rest of the turn is gonna most likely just do 1 damage.
You get a little like visual effect when that happened.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
can you zoom in there?
Yeah. You can see it.
Yeah,
and we're still working on that part of it too. That's gonna be a little bit more pronounced. Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna try to get this guy off of the thing since he went down to 1 HP. There's also this big blue enemy over here.
That guy does not look friendly.
So we call this guy a seizure. He's based on forgetfulness, and there's actually another enemy that will make you, because it's kind of like an Alzheimer's demon.
Okay.
So there's another one that is
a really scary skill to have.
More directly based off of forgetfulness that will actually de-level your characters, make them forget their combat training and stuff.
Is that
but
permanent?
this guy is almost like sort of a joke on forgetfulness, where he just hits you so hard that you just forget shit. So it's all about stunning you and knocking back,
bonk you upside the
and
head.
doing some other stuff. So I'm gonna get this guy out of here and heal him up because I really don't want him to die. And then let's see. Okay, you can tab to switch between the characters that have active skill points left.
Do you have to take your turns in a specific order, or can you?
No, you can do them. You get to move your whole team. We go with just like a whole team kind of system, so you can just do it but you can have each individual character take their turn in whatever order.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have this other Caberjack run up and try to knock this guy back into this wall and stun him.
There you go.
Okay, and that's cool. So now that dude's stunned. He's gonna lose his next turn. Like that's cool. We can deal with him later. And then I've got, let's see. So I'm looking at this, and this alchemist is having an asthma attack. So it can't move very far. So I'm not sure if I can actually get him into the point where he can actually like attack anybody. So I'm just gonna move him up here. And then let's see, I've got one more point here. I think I'm just gonna. All right.
Oh. That sounded ominous.
That's like
I missed.
when the cadence takes over, we try to vignette the screen and just be like, okay, this is like the enemy turn, and you just have to kind of chill out and wait for it.
What kind of tech are you guys on? Is this the evolution of your existing stuff?
Yeah. This is definitely like our own, the Buddha engine that we've been using for
since like Brutal Legend, right?
Yep, Brutal Legend times.
Yeah.
It's been good to us. I think using our own tech.
It looks sharp. Everything's got kind of a nice clean look to it. Like even the UI overlays. Baller time.
Baller time. Yeah. So every time you get a kill, there's kind
of a rallying cry.
Yeah, it's like a battle cry that people submitted.
Yeah.
So again, we see new ones all the time.
I had a good time watching people that I know who backed this, posting their bloodlines on Twitter, and kind of looking at somebody cool. Somebody like Greg Kasavin or something, and seeing the battle cry that he wrote, and it's like, yeah, of course, Clan Kasavin would shout that in battle.
Totally.
Totally. Yeah, that's an exciting aspect of this, is to see all the people that got behind it.
Yeah, it's
showing up in the game.
It's super cool. It's awesome to just have that just have the support of people and just know that these are actual humans that support stuff. Okay, so the other thing, that bulwark guy, I was pretty foolish there.
This is looking bad. This is dire all of a sudden.
I'm playing really terribly. So yeah, one thing that I did, I made a couple of mistakes there. I lined up 2 of these characters right next to each other, and this bulwark has a piercing shot that can go through dudes. So yeah, that was pretty stupid. I should have split them up. One thing that we do too, later in the game when we see the strategic side, is that there's a bunch of technology that you can research.
Okay.
And one of the things we let you research is different abilities that come from the enemies. So that piercing shot, you can actually make a bow out of the bodies of those bulwarks and then give it to your hunters.
Okay.
And then have them use it. It's kind of like a fight fire with fire, like a Mega Man kind of approach with it.
Do you need to collect some given amount of resources to research stuff like that? Is like you have to kill X number of those guys?
Yeah,
or something like
it's
that?
all based on kills right now.
Okay.
And we'll be able to show it to you as soon as I get through this fight. If I get through this fight.
Oh, that's a big if.
Yeah, let me focus.
Is this the last guy?
On this. No, there will be several more.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get. Let's see. I'm gonna try to smash this dude again.
Nice.
Okay, good. That was just a precaution in case these guys mess up their.
In case they glance.
Yeah, definitely glance there. Let's see.
It's okay. You're never at your best when you're trying to talk your way through a video game.
It's totally true. It's totally true. It's a learned skill, and I like never learned it. See, it was really good that I stunned that guy because he just went down to 1 HP. Let's see. I think I can move this caberjack up here. And get this alchemist up here as well. Okay.
Bong. You guys hand build all the maps, or are they also generated?
Yeah. So all of the maps are hand built, but the actual like distribution of enemies and what type of enemies and all that layout and stuff that's totally custom.
Oh, okay.
That's totally random and stuff. So. Yeah, it's like, we wanted to make sure that it's just, we'd read a lot of horror stories actually about people trying to do randomized levels and make them look nice in like a 3D style and everything. So yeah, we decided early in development that we wouldn't tackle that, but we're hoping that we can have some time to make some more levels. But yeah, all of these indoor keep levels are for sure handcrafted. We have a bunch of outdoor levels that are also like, handcrafted, but yeah, we'd definitely like to make more of them. Okay, so I'm gonna move this caberjack up, see if... Okay, cool. And then that sets it up for the alchemist.
Did that stun both of those guys?
Yeah,
cool.
it did. There's it's a guaranteed stun on the enemy that you hit, that you actually like hit with it.
Yeah.
But then anything that you knock it into, we give you like a chance to also stun that character. So let's see. I'm gonna take. Should be able to get 2 bombs in here.
See how much easier it is when you just get to think about what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. When I just get to focus on it.
Did you guys do your music in-house?
No, we worked with these guys. We did. I was so excited about it. We did this like an open music audition for it, and we worked with. It was really rad. It was our music director, Brian Min. He was he was like, since there's no no publisher or anything, like what if we just just do it the quote unquote right way, where we just like have an open audition and we send send requests to like people that we know that are composers and like have them send it in and whatever. So we did that, and it was so rad that we were just like, hey, we want something that doesn't sound like fantasy music, something that sounds like a little bit outside the box. And we got all these like totally rad submissions from all these people that we know. And we ended up going with these guys, Trifon and White. They're called Finishing Move is what they're called. I think they're doing the music for the new Halo. Okay. But we worked with them on Drop Chord. Yeah. And they're like they do like techno, sort of like electronic music, and it was just, their submission was awesome. It was just like really far outside the box and like super rad, and cool. So we were able to like work with them and stuff, and it was awesome. Like,
excellent.
I think that they did a super great job.
Oh, what happened? I was going to stop you. I wanted to ask what was going on that flip screen.
Oh, so that was just like the sort of like wrap up
the XP results screen. Okay. So no upgrades or anything.
If anybody levels up, you can totally like assign skill points and stuff in that screen and all that stuff. But it's really just telling you like who got the kills, how much XP they got, how long it took you to on that mission, things like that. Right. Okay, so this is the other half of the game. This is the strategy section of the game. So this is where you're kind of like looking at the world like from this really far out perspective, and you're protecting this nation, and you can see around it like that's the cadence. That's this weird sort of like miasma that's like corrupting the nation from the outside. Yeah. So one of the things like like because the war is going to last so long, and all of your characters, like there's permadeath on all the characters, but they also age as the timeline goes. So the attacks are roughly every 10 years, like plus or minus some. It's fairly randomized, but yeah, it's about every 10 years. And so your heroes are not going to be able to fight in that many battles before they just pass away of like natural causes. So one of the things that like this is the main way that you're going to be combating that is like through marriage and like making sure that you have children that are gonna come by, or they're gonna come out like as you get going. So so the capital is in the middle of the map, and that's kind of like what you're trying to protect. That's where the Chalice is. That's where you, as the ruler, that's kind of like where you're seated. And then there are these other regions. Like there's 5 inner regions and then 5 outer regions. The cadence attacks from the outside in. And just for starters, for this demo, we just have like only one building placed, and it's one of these keeps, and this is where you like can conduct a marriage. In the full game, it's like you can place one building in each of these regions, and they take time to build. You do it through the research system.
Okay.
And there are other kinds of buildings that you can make, but the keep is sort of like the most important one that you build like early on. And you can just click it, and it's kind of like zoom into it, and then you see the throne here, and like, okay, this is cool. Like we're gonna start a new bloodline. We call it a regent, and that's mainly because we were looking for like a gender neutral term for the, it's not like a king or it's not, whatever.
Right.
It's just like a regent, because you can have like a man sit the throne or you can have a woman sit the throne. It doesn't matter. Like it's totally gender neutral. And this is just like giving you a preview of what they would look like, kind of sitting in the throne, and you can see their like house colors there and everything.
Is I guess the fertility is all just kind of bloodline based? It's all genetic?
Yeah,
more or less?
Yeah. So you can sort it by experience, or you can like filter this list. The ones that have high fertility probably have this bountiful trait.
Okay.
The younger characters that have the bountiful trait are going to have the highest fertility. Yeah. So we have like three distinct like sections of a hero's life. We have like a young, a prime, and an old section that's all based on like age brackets. And that will actually like impact their stats and stuff. So like younger characters have higher fertility, and they're like a little bit faster and have more evasion. And then older characters have like reduced sight range and like slightly higher wisdom, but like lower evasion.
Yeah.
So we try to do and lower fertility as well. So so this like there's a lot of things to like take into account when you're like deciding who you're gonna actually put on the throne. For this. So one of the things that people look for is like this bountiful trait is really good, and that just means that they'll have more, they'll just have more children overall. And this character is actually pretty good because it's fairly high level. That's another thing that people look at. When the kids are born, they're always like level 0 or level 1. And then throughout the simulation, we simulate every day when the timeline's running, the parents will kind of dump some of their experience onto the kids.
Okay.
So the higher level the parents, the higher level the kids will be when the kid comes of age, when he's 15. So this is like, we kind of want you to like, I don't know, like sawtooth your way through the game in terms of like XP levels. So you get these characters, they're at like level 3, you retire them, their kids might come out at level 2, you fight those kids up to like level 5 maybe, so now those kids are gonna come out at level 4, and then so on, and you just kind of go through the game like that. So yeah, you definitely want like the highest level characters as possible, but you don't want the ones that necessarily have bad genetics that they would pass on. Like this character is nearsighted, that one's not so bad. Some of them are a lot more impactful than others. The ones that asthmatic trait is really bad. So like this character, Febane, pessimistic, sickly, asthmatic. It's like you don't necessarily not want to put a character like that in there, because then you're gonna have all these kids in your second generation are gonna like have these bad genetics and stuff. So I do feel like we could put Tazwell like. So Brainy, we'll get into that in a minute. Like that's like having increased wisdom is really good for this thing called the Sage Rake skill. That's another building that you can build on the map.
Okay.
And that like can help. You can actually retire characters not only to a keep, but you can also retire them sort of into this guild where they'll just help out the research, and you'll research things faster. And then we have another building. What are we calling that? I think we're calling it a retreat, the standards retreat. And you can retire a hero to be the standard, which is sort of like a a war trainer, like somebody who's sort of setting a curriculum for everybody, and he's contributing more XP to the trainers that are coming up.
Is there a limit to how many different buildings you can have in a region? Like, is it kind of an either or?
Just one per building.
So you have
one
to,
per region. Yeah.
So you have to tear an old one down if you want to replace it with something else, or?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if we even allow you to do that.
Or is it
I don't think we do.
Is it permanent? You just have to pick. Okay.
They can get attacked and they can get destroyed. But yeah, okay. So when you choose the character that you want to sit on the throne, then you're kind of taken to the screen where like oh, okay, we're gonna pick like someone to marry to
super
to
compatible.
Mr. Davis. Yeah, and that's like we're still working on this language. I think it's a little bit weird. It reads like an OK Cupid thing.
Is it hot or not? I don't know.
So it's like I don't know. It feels a little bit weird.
You're gonna swipe left or right on that person.
I really don't want it to be like that, but right now it's really
you're using the Tinder API for this, right? I mean, you can just admit it.
Okay. Yeah. You'll be able to find hot singles in your area by playing Massive Chalice, no problem. Can you edit that part out?
No, please don't.
Sweet. So so this is looking for somebody who would be like a good match for Mr. Davis over here that we've retired. So one thing is that like looking for somebody who has either the Brainy or the Dodger trait like would be good, but it looks like I don't really have. Oh, see, okay, so this character, Sarah von Kloster, like she's brainy, and that might be really good. Like especially if we're gonna try to like shape this playthrough in a direction where we like want to have a lot of like really smart kids, and then we sort of have like a more tech rush type build through the tech tree and stuff. We're trying to keep it really open-ended, where it's like, and we haven't done tons of testing like on the final version of it and stuff to know like what is the best sort of way to do this.
It seems like
also,
you could.
This is the name of the key. This is Fort Summer Jams.
That's excellent.
And then this is like the sort of like house motto,
Okay.
That people have submitted as well. So you'll see a bunch of different things like that.
So it seems like you could either, in kind of picking the two people to pair, you could either min-max, like so they sort of have similar traits that build on each other, or kind of go like well-rounded, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this person's athletic, this one's brainy.
Exactly.
Like you get kind of a super soldier.
And you're also like, it is pretty randomized. Like there's kind of like random mutations where the genetic bits will flip, and just sometimes the kids will just not have the same things as their parents, and like there's also like a bunch of recessive traits and stuff where it's like, oh, neither of the parents have this thing but the kid does, and it's like, oh. So this is the research part of the game. So if we dive down into the capital, so this is like where the actual chalice sits. This is where it will sort of like, it'll be talking to you, and so
dispense its wisdom.
Yeah, and the idea here is that it's like story-wise is like these two characters have been kind of like trapped into this chalice. It's like an older man and a younger woman have been kind of like trapped in this chalice, and they've sort of been together for a really long time. And this thing is immortal as well. And this is sort of like where your power comes from and stuff. But so you can check out all of your heroes here with this screen, but you can also go into the research screen, and this is where like really you have like just a single, like we're trying to streamline it. You just have like a single research queue. So things like that health potion, just having like an improved version of that. Global strategy bonuses like this fertility boost that will just like help all of your heroes just have children at an increased rate. This one's a little weird, trying to come up with the contextualization for what this is.
Sure. Or why that might happen.
Or why that might happen. So we're trying to figure out if that should have like a magical explanation, or if it should just, I don't know. And then these three down here, so you can see like that bone shell that the bulwarks have. This would, like, once I kill a couple of more bulwarks, I'll be able to research this bone shell armor, and then that'll give me suits of armor kind of made out of those dudes that I can give to my caberjacks, and they'll have that ability of like every time they get hit, they'll sprout that shell for the rest of the turn. And so this is the like, I really like Mega Man. And so like, taking the best abilities that we've sort of developed for the enemies and like porting them onto the heroes in terms of equipment is like, yeah. So when you're deciding which attack to sort of, we'll get to that in just a second, but when you're deciding like which attack to respond to, you'll be able to see which enemies are in there, and you can actually sort of like, depending on what you want out of the tech tree, you might make certain decisions of like which attack you're gonna take. I'm just gonna take this fertility boost. Because babies. So once you've like made your decisions, like the game is largely just, it's like purely defensive, right? It's like you sort of set up, you make all these decisions, and there's no attacking. It sort of has this like super passive kind of feel to it, where the only thing that you can really do is is just run this timeline. So you have this giant play button up here. You hit that, and then that starts running the timeline. You can see the days and the years go like ticking by.
Yeah.
And like I hope that this feels like, I don't know. I hope that people like. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this. Just like, you know, it's like I'm getting older. My parents are getting older.
Sure.
Like grandparents are gone.
This is getting kind of.
And it's. I guess this is. I know it is. You know, it's like I just spend a lot of time thinking about it, probably too much. And it's like this is. I think that this has been really cathartic to like work on a game like this and think about these things and like try to express them and have it. You know, just to be like, what do you
think about the legacy you leave
as a
behind,
human, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you leaving behind? What do you want to accomplish here as a human and like all this stuff? And like I hope that people even just subconsciously like think about it while they play the game. Really, the greatest thing that I would want to happen is have people play the game and then not even know why, but they call their grandma. Do you know what I mean? They're like they've been playing the game and they're just like I'm gonna call my grandma, and like they don't even really know why, but they're gonna do it, and like that would be like the greatest accomplishment for this game. So another thing, like while the timeline's running, you'll get interrupted with things that sort of require your attention as like the immortal ruler, and this is like very inspired by FTL. I totally love that game, and this is like a way of getting more story into the game as well. So we have this is an event that that we're kind of like showing off as the example. So this is the Uncle Walrus event where this hero has like one of his uncles that's kind of like right on the fringe of the corruption, you know, in one of these regions, and he's asking your permission to like leave for a while and try to find him and bring him back to the capital so that he'll be safe there. And so you get to decide, like, what do you want to do? You want to let him go? We're talking about increasing this as well, so that you'd be able to see like who this character is and like click on this guy's name, because Kindeth Davis is actually one of Mr. Davis's brethren, and that's actually cool. Like some of the characters that you start with will actually be related to each other, so you can start sort of like seeing familial connections like right away, which is cool.
Does that mean that this guy, the Davis, is fungible here? Like you could lose him or something?
I don't know.
It's
possible.
Some unfortunate fate might befall him.
But I think we should let him.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you take the lead.
Okay.
Whoa.
So it's gonna take him a few years to actually like wander around and like try to find his uncle and stuff. So and then you'll see that kind of upcoming. Okay. That he on the timeline. And again, it's like that's about all we can do is sort of make that decision and then run the timeline. On the timeline, you can see here. So this thing is gonna be you'll be able to like scroll this around and like zoom in and out on it and stuff. But any of the events here, you can see this baby boy Corvus. So he has been born at Fort Summer Jam. So if we click into here, we can see like Corvus Davis here. So he's nearsighted. So he totally got that from his mom. He's nearsighted, but he's also quick study, so that's great. Did not get the brainy or the dodger from his dad, but it happens. Like whatever takes after his mother, kind of thing. And you can already see like he's like age 1, and his XP bar is filling up because from this. And then once he hits, so the idea is that every time they have a kid, the kid's kind of like bound to the keep. He's bound to Fort Summer Jams. He's going to be there until he's like 15, at which point his XP will be like locked. That's sort of like him completing his training, and then he'll be transferred into the capital, and then he'll sort of join this like retinue of heroes. Like these are the active heroes that you'll be able to actually deploy into the fights when they happen.
Or the stage rights that I just saw in there.
Oh, the stage rights. So that's another building. We don't actually have that in the demo, but that's another building that you can build, and then it's another way for you to retire your heroes. Okay. It's like, you can like take a hero and retire them into the Stage Rights Guild, and then they'll take their wisdom in, like we have like a formula that lets them every day of the simulation put some of their like wisdom points towards researching the stuff that's in your like build queue. Okay. So you can take, so it's sort of like we don't have like gold or sort of like normal economy that you would see like in a lot of games. It's really just like time and your heroes. Those are like the real things that you're managing. So if you feel like you have heroes that you can spare or that are really smart, like the heroes that have that brainy trait, you can build one of those Stage Rights Guild and then retire them there, and then you'll get through the tech tree a lot faster. Okay. So, but then again, they're gonna also age out and then eventually pass away, and you'll have to replace them. So, yeah.
Do you get notifications on the timeline when people die of old age?
Yeah, you totally do.
That's crazy.
You totally do.
Because you think about like something like an XCOM, they have permadeath, but unless they die in battle, they don't die, Like they live forever otherwise.
So
like, talk about being reminded of your own mortality.
It's definitely something.
The inevitability of death.
I don't know if anybody will pass away. Okay, you can see there's another baby, Trevor.
Is that what the fireworks are?
Yeah. That's
celebrating another birth.
Yeah. Okay, so this is like the results of that random event.
Okay.
So Kindith went out and
so he
found his uncle, and now he's gained this Might of the Walrus trait, and like that's cool. So we can like check that out.
Is that a dice roll? Like you're not guaranteed to have a successful outcome even if you pick that first.
Yeah, we have a bunch of different outcomes for these random events that are just kind of like like
sort of good.
Who knows what's going to happen? You know,
okay.
and we it's very similar to FTL where you don't really know what's going to happen. You know, it's like it might be good, might be bad, and it's like, can you risk that hero? Like, is it worth it?
Okay.
And we can see this like Kindith has this Might of the Walrus trait, and so that's like gonna, he'll have increased strength, and then that can actually be passed down to other characters if you were to retire him, and like then and so we use those random events to kind of like they're all centered, almost all of them are centered around your heroes and like the characters that you're managing and stuff, and that's all about like we want to sort of like get you, like endear you to those characters so that you like really care about them, you're invested in them, but also their bloodline and like all that. We're gonna run this guy one more time.
I like how it sort of slowly ramps back up to full speed, like a tape player or something.
So this is like the Cadence invasion, and they're attacking these two outer regions here, over here in the Ebit Marsh, like this marshlands, and then over here in this in the Pale Sea. So this is a desert region up here. So you'll get different. You'll be able to see which types of enemies are inside this particular tactical battle. And like I was talking about, like if you want to sculpt your playthrough one way or another based on like the tech tree and like which enemies you need to defeat, you can use that information. It will also like ease the corruption in that area. So if a region reaches 100% corruption, it'll just be destroyed. You'll lose the building that's in there in that region, and like if there if it was a keep, you would lose the whole bloodline. You'd lose all the trainees that were in there. So it's pretty devastating. So there's a bit of like kind of plate spinning where you're trying to manage these regions and trying to make the best decision when multiple of them get attacked. And then there's also rewards. So if I were to go here and win, I would get like a new hunter, like sweet, would join my party. And then like here, it's like it'll accelerate my research for a while if I win this mission. Okay. So it's like. Also, like there's also like the greater sort of state of the map. It's like, so if this region were to be destroyed, this one with the keep would get exposed. So I would probably like respond to this one. These decisions get a lot more complex like later into the game.
Sure.
Early on, it's going to be pretty easy, and like that's totally fine. I think that's good. But later on, you'll hopefully have some really, really difficult situations where you might not be able to save one of the regions and it'll fall apart, and then you're going to have like fewer to really want this thing to feel like you're just sort of like slowly getting choked out by this cadence from the outside.
Once a region is gone, is it gone forever,
it's
or
gone forever.
You can't move back in and try to take it back over?
It's gone forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the end.
Oh, and that's it?
That's the end of the demo.
Oh man. So is it possible to win, or do you just hold out as long as you can?
Yeah. So the goal of the game is to hold out for 350 years. That's what it is right now. And so there's it's more of like this like bookend approach with the story, where it's like we have this pretty sophisticated setup with like the Cadence and the Chalice, and you're the ruler and all that stuff. But then it kind of gets rolling pretty fast, and then we use those random events. So it's like those random events are the kind of like meat of the story that really like shape your individual playthrough. And then all the randomized bloodlines and sort of like which way you're going through the tech tree, which classes you're focusing on, things like that. We only have those 3 character classes in the game, but we also have when you do marry those 2 characters together, unless they're the same class, they'll actually have like a hybrid class.
Okay.
That's actually not in the game yet.
Okay.
So I can't even show you that if I wanted
That's
to.
fine.
But
I'll take your word.
But the idea there is that like if you took a hunter and you married the hunter to a caberjack, their kids would be like Hunt Jacks.
Okay.
And,
are they going to have pithy names like that, or?
I hope so.
Okay.
Yes. And they'll have some custom. They'll still fight primarily like a hunter, so they take after the regent more so than the partner. But their skill tree will be sort of like flavored.
Okay. Wow. That's
by the partner.
Okay.
So
that's huge.
In that case, like you saw that knockback attack with the caberjack. Like with a huntjack, they'd be able to shoot a knockback arrow and knock back an enemy, but like from range. And it's like, oh, cool. So they have that as sort of like a custom ability, but then they'll lose some of the hunter abilities. Just trying to balance it all out. Yeah, there's a bunch of like stuff.
Sounds
There's
like
a bunch of more stuff.
A lot of stuff yet to appear.
Yeah,
That's a lot to chew on, though. You've given us a lot to look at here.
Yeah,
like you said, it was just the PAX demo. I was like, I don't know if it's going to be enough to fill up a video.
I know.
But
Do you think it's enough?
No, I feel like
Right.
that was way more than expected.
All right, cool.
I mean, not to carry the FTL analogy all the way, but do you see this as a repeatable game? Like, are you going to play through this once and win, and that's it, or is it more of a like I'm doing another run?
It's like the most. It's like the most replayable game that I've ever like worked on, and we've tried to like, with every decision that we make about it, like we try to push it more into down the replayable road, and just like we're talking about even like randomizing the tech tree. So that would again like sculpt your playthrough in a different direction, where like maybe last time you were focusing on like the hunter technology, you had like really strong genetics in your hunters, because that random distribution of characters that you get at the beginning really has like a big influence on like which direction you're going to take it, and then again the tech can sort of like double down on like which type of characters do you want to focus on and all that stuff. So and then also the random events can, we're trying to generate some that are really, really damaging, that have either like really high highs, really low lows, to really mess up your strategy, like losing all characters over a certain age or something, just or under a certain age, like just sort of giving you some real curveballs to deal with that would mess up your playthrough. So yeah, it's like I kind of have been thinking about it as this like long form roguelike. Mm-hmm. It's pretty dangerous though, like because it's like we're estimating a playthrough to be like, I don't know, like 10 to 12 hours.
Okay.
Like the tactical battles right now, that was a little bit of a shorter one. I mean, I know it took us forever to get through it because like I was talking and like whatever. But it's so weird because a lot of people ask that question, like, how long is the game going to be? Like, watching people, like I've been really enlightened by this, like watching people play turn-based strategy games. Some people noodle like every single decision, and it's like you can. I try to get through our tactical battles in like 15 to 20 minutes. People can take like 45 to get through one, and I'm like watching them play is like so arduous to me. I'm just like, oh my god, they're just like, they're using each action point one at a time. They're just sort of like being really, really careful, and like that's good. And the game, the game doesn't punish you for that. Like if you want to be really careful and do that, like it's totally up to you. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. It's sort of scary though, like when you train wreck a playthrough and you're like 8 to 10 hours into the game and you're like near the end and like something horrible goes wrong and then you lose a couple regions like on the strategy, like it's like, and you have to start all the way from scratch.
That's the peril of being the ruler.
It's pretty difficult, but I also one of the things, we've had a lot of backers coming in and playing the game, and I'm like really nervous about this, like this sort of like, oh my god, you might have to restart the game, is that okay? And all of them have had to restart. We've had them like come in, some of our like higher value backers like come in and they like play the game for a whole day, and like I check in and out on them and stuff, and yeah, they're like, they've all had to start over and they're all totally fine with it,
well,
and it's because it is, there is a lot of like trial and error and like learning from your mistakes and stuff, and so yeah, I hope that's cool. I think it's cool. I like games like that, so it
seems like that's what the kids are into these days.
Man,
I think
it's pretty awesome.
You're in good company.
It's pretty awesome that the kids are into that. Like I never really saw that happening.
Right.
It feels like a very like get off my lawn kind of concept. But it's really rad that the kids are into it.
It's because what we were into when we were kids, and then it went away for a long time, and now it's back. So when are we gonna like see more of this? Hear more about this? I mean, this is the PAX build.
You will play this video game this year.
Okay.
You will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've drawn a line in the sand.
I'm drawing a line in the sand. Yeah, December 31st.
Yeah.
I'll probably that will probably come back to bite us in the bottom.
Yeah.
But no, it will. Yeah, we're really pushing to get it out there.
Okay.
So that people can play it in full form.
Excellent. Well, Brad Muir, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank
Always
you, Brad.
a pleasure.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And
thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and I hope you have a good PAX.
Viewers. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have people play the game.
Everybody has a good PAX.